Boom, boom. It's that Leo Be the Lion show. Boom, boom. Gonna tell you what you need to know. Boom, boom. Now here comes your boy Leo. Hey everybody, it's your boy Leo Be the Lion here today with a jam-packed show for you. Coming at you from my crib today. I was just thinking I got some family business to attend to later, so I can't come to you live at 5. So why don't I have the day off from work, so why don't I do a show earlier? So I'll be posting this on YouTube. Chances are this is how you'll be watching. Thank you for watching if you do. Thank you for consuming my channel. And if you can, please subscribe, like, share. You can follow me at Twitter and Instagram at Leo Be the Lion Show. And also on Facebook. You can find me there. What I want to talk about today, I have a lot of things to talk about today. It's going to be a great show. And it's first things first, we're going to talk about the fans of other teams talking about the Dolphins. I'll get into that. I don't want to give you any details, but a lot of fans, specifically fans of other AFC East teams, and it's understandable, they talk about the Dolphins, so we'll get into that. What do they have to say? We'll hear from them. And I'll have you a little story about a buddy that went to the game. And then my first coaching experience. I've had the pleasure this past weekend and to coach my son for the first time with sports, so we'll get into that topic. And we'll get into NFL news and notes. Week 5 in the NFL was a great week, a wild weekend. I know last week I called it wild, so let's call it wacky weekend this weekend. Because a lot of things happened that you kind of could have expected, but it was almost like an avalanche towards the extreme. And then we'll get into the local NCAA scene, where in Florida teams like FSU, UF, UM, UCF were all in action this weekend. UCF had their game from Hurricane Ian, hashtag Hurricane Ian relief. If anybody wants to donate to various organizations, I know there's organizations out there. I'm not going to support any specific one, but I know there's organizations out there for Hurricane Ian relief. I don't have any organizations, no hashtag, nothing for me, but I just want to let you know you can donate, so you should, as you should, for the relief. They really got damaged out there in Fort Myers, the whole Bokeela. There's that one key. But over there in that area, Amelia Island, all that stuff. So just thinking about y'all at Hurricane Ian. So, and then we'll get into my hashtag 5-pack of picks, and we will talk about the recap of my picks from last week, and the going forward, I'll give you 5 picks for this week, and I'm really excited to give you those and let you know what I think and how my record has come and how it's going to go forward. And then also, we're going to be able to, I'm gonna let you know about, if we have time in the end of the show, and I'm going to let you know a little bit about what I was thinking about the other day, and I thought it was pretty cool, and so we'll get into it. I know it's very vague, but let's get into the show, all right? So here we go. Let's start with fans of the other teams talking about the Dolphins. Ladies and gentlemen, hold on, let me turn down the theme music, the music bed. So, what I have to say about this now, as a Dolphins fan primarily, you hear me when I'm talking critically, when I'm talking about, really about the team. I'm only talking about the Dolphins. I'm a Dolphins fan, ride or die. I'm always on the Dolphins, win or lose. Quick recap of what happened we lost to the Jets, and so losing to the Jets made me think, oh man, we were started out 3-0, lost 2 games. We'll be fine. We're only 3-2. I didn't think we were going to get out of the first 4 games without 2 losses anyway. Well, we took us 5 to get 2 losses, so that's fine. But as a Dolphins fan, you don't hear me talking about oh, haha, the Jets lost, haha, this team lost, haha, that team lost. No, I just say, okay, my team won, my team lost. Yeah, I'll give you the NFL news and notes. I'll give you the, I'll give you the, what happened, and I'll give you my opinion about what I think if the team is good or not. But I won't get on Facebook. I won't gloat and be like, oh yeah, the Jets still are trash. No, what I'm saying is, I hate the Jets, I hate the Bills, I hate the Patriots. Okay, that's fine. Yeah, I'm a diabolical hater when it comes to that. Shout out to Dave Chappelle and Dave Chappelle's show. That was a good show. But what I can tell you is, as a Dolphins fan, you won't hear me talking about other teams like, oh yeah, I'm happy they lost. Haha, the Ravens suck. I'll tell you like last week when the Ravens should have took the points to kick the field goal against the Bills. I'll say they should have took the points. I don't know what the coach was doing. Fair criticism. But you have these teams, and I don't know what it is about the Miami Dolphins. I guess everybody wants to be the Miami Dolphins because it's cool to play down here. Like, it's real cool to be the Miami Dolphins. Like, we're genuine. Like, going out, you know what I'm saying? So, like, we cool. But I see fans of other teams when they beat us or when other teams beat us. Like, so yesterday, I saw fans of other teams, a fan of neither the Jets or the Dolphins, talking about, the Dolphins are still trash, same old Dolphins, blah, blah, blah. And the analysts are going to say that same thing. They're going to say, oh, after starting 3-0, we knew they couldn't keep it up, and now all of a sudden they're 3-2. What are the Dolphins going to do? They have so many injuries, blah, blah, blah. That's going to be the narrative, and it's kind of tiring because when you can predict the narrative, it's just funny to have that happen and to be right all the time. So, other team, they always have the Dolphins in y'all mouths. Keep the Dolphins name out your mouth. I'm like Will Smith. Keep my team's name out your mouth. You know what I'm saying? Like, come on, man. So, I pretty much talk about the Fins. Yeah, listen. The Jets, they beat us 40-17. We missed a field goal. It could have been 19-17. 20-19 with 13 minutes left to go in the fourth quarter. But instead, we missed, came apart at the seams. All credit goes to the Jets. The Jets are a good team. The Jets are sitting there at 3-2, tied with us 3-2. The Bills are at 4-1, and the Patriots are quietly 2-3, looking to probably get to 3-3 next week, and we'll talk about that in the future in my hashtag 5-pack of picks. So, what I'm going to talk about now is that it's on to Minnesota. We're on to Minnesota. The Dolphins have Minnesota next week. We're just trying to get healthy. Teron Armstead, Xavier Howard, Tyreek Hill, Tua Tagovailoa. The list goes on. We have a lot of injuries. Byron Jones, if he can come back. Can we be ready to play against Minnesota? I don't know about Teron Armstead. I'm nervous because the turf toe, when you're such a big guy, the feet are so important for you. So when you're such a big person, like a left tackle would be, the feet are so important to you. So him having like a turf toe injury or like a toe injury, they just said toe. They haven't said what kind of toe injury, whatever. But him having that kind of injury really hurts the team's chances of having good protection. And now we have Tua, who should be coming back hopefully this week. If he passes all the tests and he passes all the 5 levels of the concussion return protocol now that the NFL has in place. If he passes all those and he comes back, then he'll be able to contribute to the team. But if he doesn't have Teron Armstead on his left side, on his on his front side, it's really going to harm the offensive line. It's really going to harm Tua and Tua's chances to win the game. So, moving off that real quick about the Dolphins fans and the non-Dolphins fans talking about us keeping the Dolphins name in your mouths, that's fine. When we start winning again, you're going to be like, oh, the Dolphins are fake, blah, blah, blah. But watch, we're going to keep winning some games. Don't worry. Let us be healthy. Let us be healthy at the most important positions. Because we're 3-0 when our quarterback plays the whole game. When our quarterback can play the whole game and come back and play the game, we're 3-0. So I don't want to hear it about, other fans talking about, oh, the Dolphins are trash, blah blah blah. Okay, yeah, the Dolphins, whatever you say, whatever you say, we're 3-2, we're above 500. Our records, we are what our record says we are, so that's fine with me. So I'd rather be 3-2 and then 2-3 any day, and so I'm happy that we were able to beat the Bills, the Patriots, and the Ravens already. So who would have thunk it? So next, let's go and switch topics to my first coaching experience. I was able to, these past 2 weeks, I was able to talk about and have the opportunity to coach my son's basketball team. And I was able to coach my son's basketball team, and it was such a fun experience coaching little 4, 5, 6-year-olds in basketball. So you have so varying levels, some that's never even bounced a ball before, to some that think they're Michael Jordan already, and some that they're ready to roll and try to always take a shot and do everything. And that's fine, and I like that, because that's what you want to see. You want to see that because kids are so innocent, and kids are the future. But what I'm saying is, kids just are so cool to teach and to help and to nurture. And I think that's one of the most important things that we can do as a society and as adults we can do. And Leo be the lion, hashtag fully protect those lion cubs, because it takes a village, and it's really important to give back and help kids, and it helps with their self-esteem, helps with their emotional well-being, it helps with their image of themselves. It helps with everything that they're going through, is to have good coaches, good adult role models in their lives. And these are all boys, and so to have good male role models in their lives, it really helps. I really think, I know I had a few good male role models in my life, and I like to think that I've turned out okay. So it was just that, coaching my son's basketball team, to see him, if he listened, I was worried that he was gonna be like, oh, my dad's the coach, I can goof off. But no, he tried his hardest, he did his thing, and I'm so happy. I'm proud of you, kid. And then Leo loves the kids. Leo be the lion is about helping the kids. So whenever I have a situation in my past, a few years ago, now almost 10 years ago now, I had the opportunity to help out and volunteer with a school for children with special needs. And that was one of the greatest experiences of my life, because it helped me see children, and see kids in a new light, that where in the past, when I was a child and when I was a teenager, adolescent, and everything growing up, I didn't really have an appreciation of what you don't know it is while it's going on. And then when you look back, hindsight is 20/20, and you see, okay, this is what kids go through, this is what things happen, this is this as an adult. And obviously that sounds obvious, but to put that into perspective, when you see these kids going through some certain emotional trouble, or having a tantrum, or having trouble on the court because they feel frustrated, it's so nice to be able to go to them and make them feel better, help them understand, and be in their corner, to show them ways that they can gain confidence, ways that they can improve their skills. And so I just like to give that out, and I love offering my advice to kids and trying to help them out, because I want those kids to grow up, and I want them to be productive members of society. Like I want to be a productive member of society, obviously, and I hope that most people do. And that's so clutch. And so hashtag positive role models out there, positive male figures, positive female figures, because there was boys and girls at the basketball. So you can, if any children, that's why I say children, I don't say boys and girls, because I say if any children are out there and they need to, and they all need help, and they all are innocent, and we all need to help the kids and help them learn and achieve as much as they can. All right, that's my soapbox. It just warms my heart. Hashtag positive role models. Let's go. So now, after talking about my kid's first coaching experience, I was so proud of my son. He really tried hard. He got some steals. He put up a couple shots and just barely missed them, but it was fun. It was a fun game. Win or lose, I just want the kids to have fun, and the coaches are all there for them to have fun. So it's a great thing. They're young. They're just learning the game. And the most important thing is you want them to fall in love with the game first, and then if they're skilled enough, then that's when you nurture their skills, in my opinion. You don't want them to be like, okay, I don't know if I really like basketball, but they're pushed to get into it. And that's the trouble with it. So you don't want to do that. So now let's talk about NFL news and notes, ladies and gentlemen. Man, it was a wild week on the NFL, week 5, and let's get into it. The first game that that I'm going to talk about is the Dolphins versus the Jets. Come on, Dolphins. Y'all lost 40-17. I cannot believe it, man. I cannot believe it. We were down 19-17 with like a minute left in the third quarter. We tried to kick a field goal with 13 minutes left in the fourth quarter, and we missed that field goal. We could have gone up 20-19, and it would have been a totally different vibe to the game. The momentum would have been totally different. Our defense would have been pumped up. But we missed the field goal, and guess what happened? The Jets drove down, scored, and then the wheels fell off. We couldn't get a drive together after that moment, and we ended up losing 40-17. The Jets reeled off 3 straight touchdowns, and we ended up losing 40-17. So the Dolphins, that was a hard loss to swallow. It was really tough to take. When your third-string quarterback has to come in basically on your second offensive play of the game because Teddy Bridgewater gets injured on the first offensive play of the game for the Dolphins, it's really frustrating and really, really tough to take. One of my buddies, Charlie, was at the game, and he's a Jets fan, and and I'm just like, it must have been Charlie because he's a good-hearted dude. Like, he really is a good-hearted dude. And so... And ladies out there, if you're single, yeah, he's single, hit on my dog Charlie because he's a good-hearted dude and he likes the Jets. And so I think maybe he had that good juju working yesterday to help the Jets beat the Dolphins. So we shall see. But at this point, the Dolphins are 3-2 in the division. 3-2 overall, second in the division, tied with the Jets. And next is Minnesota in Miami. So the Dolphins need to bounce back, try to beat the vaunted Minnesota offense. The offense is sitting there. They're so prolific. They have Justin Jefferson. They have Adam Thielen. And hopefully, if we can get to Kirk Cousins and stop Dalvin Cook, I think we'll win the game. But our defense has to step up and make some sacks, get some takeaways, and so we can do our thing. I don't understand why we're sitting there. We haven't got a lot of sacks. We haven't gotten a lot of takeaways. We only have 1 interception since week 1. Week 1 was our first interception, and that's the last interception we've gotten. So the Dolphins, we're playing great defense, but we need to step it up, y'all. Come on. Hopefully Tua comes back. Hopefully we're a little bit less injured. Hopefully Xavier Howard with his groin, that's a tough injury because it can be lingering. And you hope that it doesn't need surgery. You hope that it's not worse than it really is. He just needed the rest for an extra week. It's tough when you had 10 days to prepare for the Jets and you came out like that, looking kind of tough. On to Minnesota. Hopefully we can get healthy. Let's see what happens. Let's go Dolphins. And for the next game we're going to talk about in the NFL News and Notes is the Patriots versus the Lions. This was, I think, the shocker of the day in my opinion. Not that the Patriots won, but in the manner in which they won. The Patriots were able to dismantle the Lions' number 1 offense and shut them out 29-0. Now, when you think about this, the Patriots are on their 3rd-string quarterback, Bailey Zappi. Bailey Zappi broke the record for the most touchdown passes, most passing yards, and most completions, I think, in a season in the NCAA last year. And he's a rookie this year. He was the 3rd-string quarterback behind Mac Jones and Brian Hoyer. And the Patriots were able to methodically kick. They kicked like six field goals, and they were able to win 29-0. The Pats are playing well with Zappy. You know, Zappy's doing just enough to win. It kind of looks like the model that the Patriots have used for the last 20 years, where they're just going to run the ball, game manager, and play great defense, take away your best option, and say, okay, try to stop us. And they really look after the first 4 games where they're 1-3, the Patriots look really ready to go now. Like, that was their preseason. Like I've mentioned before, Bill Belichick does that a lot. No, Bill Belichick. I had the Lions plus 4.5, and if they would have been able to even put up a showing, maybe they could have covered. I was disappointed in that, and the Pats wear their throwbacks. So they had Pat the Patriot on their helmet. They had the red jerseys, and let's just face it, ladies and gentlemen, going forward, if you're putting anything or any type of bet on wagers on the Lions, fade the Lions. Going forward, just fade the Lions, because the Lions are the same old Lions. And going forward, if the Patriots are underdogs, take the Patriots. If the Patriots are favorites, consider taking the Patriots, because the Patriots are back. Like next week, the Patriots have a team, are going in to play a team, and I forget what their team, and they're underdogs. Take the Patriots, I think, because I think I'm going to get to it in my 5-pack of picks. All right, so after that, so the Patriots moved to 2-3, and the Lions moved to 1-4. The Lions are done. Fade the Lions. The Patriots are back, and they're right in the thick of it in the AFC East again. Now let's go over and let's go to Atlanta. Talk about the Bucs versus Falcons. The Bucs ended up taking care of business. Beat the Falcons. The Bucs were 10-point favorites, but they beat the Falcons by 6. The Falcons lost 21-15. And this moved Brady to 8-0 all-time against the Falcons, and that includes the Super Bowl, 28-3. I hate to mention it, but it's always somewhere in the back of my mind as a Dolphins fan. How did you let the Patriots come back from 28-3, yo, Falcons? Come on, dog. All right, so that moves Brady all-time, regular season plus playoffs against the Falcons, 8-0, and he's actually, yeah, and so he's skunked. So, basically the Tampa Bay Bucks skunked the Falcons 21-50 or 21-0, and I call it a skunk until the fourth quarter, because when you're playing Madden, when you're playing the sports football games, if you go up at any time 21-0, say if it's 21-0 in the second half or in the first half, or say you go up 28-7, that's a skunk. And so the Bucks, and so the Bucks beat the Falcons 21-15. They were up 21-zip, skunk, until the fourth quarter, and this moves the Bucks to 3-2. The Bucks are looking good again, and let's think about the Falcons are still pretty good. It's just they just can't play well against the Bucks. So this leads you to believe that, okay, the Falcons are a decent team. They can play well against non-AFC South opponents, and I'll get to that. But the Bucks are back. The Bucks are doing okay. The Bucks are gonna always bring the good defense, and you can count on them to stop the run. And Brady to do enough to win the game. He's still got it. It's not like he's fallen off a cliff or anything, Max Kellerman. Now, for the next game in the NFL News and Notes, we're going to talk about the Philadelphia Eagles versus the Arizona Cardinals. The Philadelphia Eagles moved to 5-0 for the first time since 2004, and they're still the only undefeated team since last week, and they're rolling. Their O-line is legit. Their D-line is legit. And this makes me think, okay, if Tua could be healthy, could Tua and the Dolphins be in the same position as Jalen Hurts and the Eagles? I say this because Jalen Hurts is basically the same size as Tua, and if Tua would not have gotten injured, could we see the Dolphins being 5-0? I really do think so, and the reason why also I say this, because in the preseason, and take it with a grain of salt, take it with whatever you want, with tea and crumpets, do whatever you do, but the Dolphins beat the Eagles in the preseason. And that game was the dress rehearsal game. when a lot of the starters played. And so that's what I'm saying. Let's go Dolphins. Hashtag fins up. So the Cards need better coaching. The Cardinals have such a good roster. If you look up and down their roster, you should say they should have a top 10 defense and a top 10 offense of how good their offense is and potentially prolific their offense can be. And then if you look at how stifling their defense can be, especially their pass rush, you think, okay, the Cardinals should be better than what their record states, but they are what their record says they are. But in my opinion, I believe the Cardinals need better coaching than Cliff Kingsbury. So let's just leave it at that. In the next and final NFL game that I want to review right now is the Cowboys versus the Rams. This was a great game for the Cowboys. They really showed up, and they beat the Rams 22-10. The Cowboys are a legit 4-1 after that loss when Cooper Rush had to get thrust in after Dak Prescott got injured and they lost the game. They've reeled off 4 straight wins. Cooper Rush looks like an early MVP candidate, and he looks like he almost is on the cusp of taking Dak Prescott's job, which is crazy to think about. And also, the Cowboys have a dominant defense. What I want to say, what makes the Cowboys great, is that they know how to get takeaways. They know how to change the momentum of the game. You can have a great defense, but if your just defense is specialized in getting like 3 and outs or bend but don't break and having long drives and getting field goals, you can still lose those games if your offense can't produce. But if you get takeaways, it's hard for your offense to be bad. It's hard for you to lose those games if you get all these takeaways. The Cowboys had 4 fumble recoveries last night, and they got an interception to seal the game. And so the Cowboys are getting these sacks from Micah Parsons, these takeaways from their team, and they really have that dominant defense. And not only were the triplets, Aikman, Irvin, and Emmitt Smith, a large reason of why those Cowboys won those Super Bowls in the 90s, the Cowboys had a dominant defense as well in the 90s. So don't overlook the Cowboys defense early in the season. Yeah, it's 4-1, but after the first 4 games and now this 5th game, you can see that the Cowboys are coming along nicely. They're kind of growing. We'll see if they beat the Eagles with Cooper Rush. That'll be tough to be like, okay, do you want to bring Dak back for the Lions, which is the following week? Or if the Cowboys lose to the Eagles, how do they lose? So we'll see. Dak, is he going to get his job? So let's just talk about now something that I've noticed. When a quarterback gets thrust into the game without the week to prepare, how can you expect the quarterback to win? I think if we look at the stats, let's just look at a small sample size, but last 2 weeks, the Dolphins' backup quarterback has gotten thrust into the game and had to finish the game. And they looked inept on offense. First week of the Cowboys, when the Cowboys lost the game first week 1, Cooper Rush got thrust in and he lost the game. But then since then reeled off 4 straight wins when he's had a week to prepare for each opponent. So something I just want you guys to keep an eye out. If a quarterback has to go out mid-game, how does their team respond? Chances are their team is going to lose. And that's just my opinion. That's my theory. We can keep going with that. I just wanted to add that in on the NFL News and Notes. But now after the NFL News and Notes, now let's take a look at some college happenings, college recaps of what happened to UCF, UF, UM, FSU this week in NCAA football, week 6. So first off, UCF and SMU had their makeup game, or their hurricane game against on 10-5 Wednesday. And UCF started off really slowly. It was the conference opener for the American Conference, but they won the game 41-19. I'm really excited that that UCF won that game. I really believe that they were going to destroy SMU, and they did. It's nice to see their offense kind of clicking. They had a lot of yak yards. They got drunk off the yak, as Tyreek Hill would say. And they have a lot of speed. The Knights, the UCF Knights, have a lot of speed on the outside, and I'm so happy to see. I'm wearing my Knight shirt, flow-grown Knight shirt, and it makes me proud to see that we have a tough running game. We have like a lightning and thunder type running game with Bowser, and then our other running back who's a little bit quicker, and we have a nice little running game. And then we also have, hold on, ladies and gentlemen, you know it's a live. I was recording this live. Let me call that person back. And so then I was able to, I was proud about the Knights. They moved to 4-1, 1-0 in the AAC. And then they were able to make sure that they didn't have a bad showing and didn't ruin their season, because they're still in the hunt for everything. To start the conference open with a win is huge, and they have Cincinnati coming up, and that's going to be another huge game matchup for the Knights. Now let's move to UF, a little north. We'll go to Gainesville, and UF versus Mizzou. UF was 11-point favorites, and they were able to beat Mizzou by only 7. And I thought, UF is good, but they're not great yet. They need to improve on their offense still. Their defense is always going to come to play, but they need to improve on offense and really be able to take advantage of teams on offense. When the Gators have really good years is when their offense is hard to stop. So, a la Danny Werfel year, a la Tim Tebow years. Think about it. Then let's move down back south to Coral Gables, versus UNC. UNC ended up winning the game. Another disappointing loss for the Canes, for the Hurricanes. UNC won the game 27-24. Yes, the Tar Heels only beat the Canes by 3. However, this was not as close as it looks. After the Canes scored 17 points in the second quarter, they didn't score any points until late in the game, and it was almost out of reach. They needed barely an onside kick, and then when they had a chance, Tyler Van Dyke threw a interception to end the game. It's another disappointing loss for the Canes. I thought the Canes were back, but they've lost now, I believe, 3 straight, and their offense hasn't stepped up. Tyler Van Dyke, I don't know why he said it about the Canes fans not showing up to the games, but if you're a good player, you play, and you'll put up the stats, whether it's an empty stadium, whether it's not an empty stadium. We saw with the pandemic, so I don't want to hear that as an excuse. So come on, Canes, y'all need to get better, snap out of it. Then let's go all the way up to the Florida Capital to FSU versus NC State. FSU was close to tying the game late, but few bad coaching calls, few bad play calls caused FSU to turn the ball over and lose the game. I guess they didn't trust their field goal kicker. They had plenty of time left to try and get a little bit closer, but instead, a pass play was called, and Jordan Travis threw a bad pass and threw almost like a lame duck pass to NC State, and NC State intercepted in the end zone. FSU could have kicked that field goal. They could have tried to kick the field goal at the end of the game. Instead, they lost 19-17, and miscues, the late interception, cost FSU the game. But FSU had so many chances because, I'm going to mention this later, but the NC State backup quarterback is trash, and he's going to have to play next week against Syracuse. The NC State backup quarterback is trash because he can't throw the ball. He only had 1 pass attempt, incomplete pass. He looked terrible passing, and then he can only run, and he's not a speedster or anything. He's just an option quarterback. He's a walk-on graduate player. So now, after talking about the college football news and notes, we're going to get into my hashtag 5-pack of picks. Coming into the week, last week, I was 13-14-2, so one game under 500, and I said, okay, I'm going to bounce back, so let's see how we did on my hashtag 5-pack of picks. So I picked TCU versus Kansas with the under 68. And guess what happened? They scored 69. So that means I lost. And it was 13-10.5. So I was like, oh, this under 68 is no problem. 13-10.5. They still have 40 points to score. And so I lost. They scored 69. It's a Big 12 shootout once again. And so, okay, 0-1. Then I picked FSU plus 3.5 versus NC State. FSU covered the 3.5. They only lost 19-17, and so that's a win. Then Dolphins minus 3.5 versus the Jets. We all know the Dolphins got blown out. Good game, Jets. The Jets are for real. Robert Saleh has them playing really well. Good game, Jets. I give it to y'all. That's a loss. Then I picked the Giants. I'd say the surprise of the day yesterday. The Giants plus 8 versus the Packers. The Giants won 27-20. They won outright, and so that was a win. So 2-2. And then I picked the Saints minus 4 against the Seahawks. I knew the Seahawks had to come east. I knew that was going to be a little problem. The Saints ended up outlasting with, thanks to Taysom Hill balling out, 39-32. So the Saints covered there. That moves me to 16-2 on the season. Now let's move to this upcoming week. And ladies and gentlemen, so I'm 16-2 on the season, and I'm going to be talking about the first pick of my hashtag 5-pack of picks for this upcoming week. You know I always pick 2 college games and then 3 NFL games. The first game is Syracuse minus 4. It's actually minus 4 in the hook, minus 4.5, but I'm going to buy it down to minus 4 versus NC State. And the reason why I think Syracuse can cover this is because Dino Babers will always have Syracuse ready to play, even if they're the lesser skilled team or the worst team, and NC State's backup quarterback is trash. The NC State Devin Leary hurt his shoulder. He was in a sling. I don't think he'll play next week. And so if he doesn't play, especially NC State, his backup is he's like an option quarterback. He can't throw the ball. Fade NC State as long as the backup quarterback's in, and let's take Syracuse minus 4 on the strength of Dino Babers having the Syracuse Orange ready to play every week. Then the second game in my 5-pack of picks is Penn State versus Michigan. The Michigan is getting 7.5 points, and they're both undefeated. One is 5-0 in Michigan and 6-0 in Penn State. They're both ranked teams. One is 10. Penn State is number 10. Michigan's number 5 in the rankings, and Penn State is decent. Like I said, they have a decent running back. Their quarterback's good, and James Franklin is a great coach. Michigan's running game, however, is tough to stop with Blake Corum, who already has in 5 games, he already has 735 yards and 11 TDs on the ground. But I'm going to take Penn State plus 7 in the hook against Michigan in the Big House. Yeah, it's on the road, but I think Penn State, James Franklin will have this game close in the fourth quarter. I can see like a 24-20 game or even a 24-17 game, and Penn State could still cover that. Now moving to the pro game, let's talk about the Pats versus the Browns. The Pats are getting 3 points against the Browns in Cleveland, and I'm taking the points with the Pats versus the Browns in Cleveland because, first of all, Zappy, Cappy, Lappy, it doesn't matter who's starting at quarterback for the New England Patriots. As long as you give Bill Belichick a week to prepare with whoever's starting quarterback at the New England Patriots, he'll be ready and they'll play decently, and chances are the Patriots will be in the game in the fourth quarter. Bill Belichick's second reason is Bill Belichick's defense and his game plan. Like I said, Bill Belichick is a master preparer. He's a master game manager, master game adjustment maker. And so, if not the best in the game to do this. So Bill Belichick getting 3 points on the road against the Browns. Bill Belichick is going to take away the Browns' best option, which is basically their run game. He's going to try everything he can to stop the Browns' run game with Nick Chubb and Kareem Hunt. He's going to stop that run game, and Bill Belichick is going to say, okay, we know what Jacoby Brissett is. We know what he's capable of. Jacoby Brissett, you try and throw 40 times and try to win the game. That's how they're going to say to the Browns. And I think the Patriots will cover. I have the Patriots plus 3 for my third pick in the 5-pack of picks
for Leo Be the Lions, hashtag 5-pack of picks. Let's go. My fourth pick is the game. The Tampa Bay Buccaneers are playing the Pittsburgh Steelers. I believe it's in Pittsburgh. And the Tampa Bay Buccaneers are laying 7.5 against Pittsburgh. Pittsburgh Steelers just got throttled by the Buffalo Bills 38-3 yesterday on Sunday in Week 5. And the Steelers are one of those teams that you need to fade going forward. The Steelers are just going to get points based on the strength of the name being Pittsburgh Steelers. But the Pittsburgh Steelers, if you took that name, you could basically put the Detroit Lions right now on the Pittsburgh Steelers helmet. And basically that's who the Pittsburgh Steelers are right now. They're the Detroit Lions, so fade the Pittsburgh Steelers going forward. The Pittsburgh Steelers, in my opinion, are poised to be one of the top 3 draft picks next year in the NFL. And the Bucs are getting better every week. The Bucs are improving. The Bucs are getting healthier every week. So let's see the Bucs. I'm laying the points, the 7.5 against the Steelers. After the Bills just throttled the Steelers, the Bills just showed that the Steelers are not that good. So I believe the Bucs will cover. The Steelers defense has holes. Ever since T.J. Watt went out, the Steelers defense has been completely a sieve, unable to stop the run and just getting throttled. So we're going to lay the points for my fourth pick in my 5-pack of picks. I'm going to lay the points. The Bucs versus Steelers minus 7.5. Let's go. And for my fifth and final in my 5-pack of picks, I'm going with the 49ers versus the Falcons game, and I'm taking the Atlanta Falcons plus 6 against the San Francisco 49ers. Recently, the 49ers have run into some injury problems. Injury woes have really taken a toll on the team, and they're a little bit banged up. The Falcons are going to be at home for this matchup. And whenever the Falcons are playing somebody not in the NFC South, they're playing somebody besides the Saints, the Buccaneers, and the Panthers, the Falcons will perform and show up to play, especially at home. It's a tough place to play, especially for teams not named the Bucs, the Panthers, or the Saints. And so I expect the 49ers having to come all the way east. After having to come all the way east for the Panthers, I expect the 49ers to have a little bit more trouble against the Falcons, and I kind of expect the Falcons to win outright, but I'm taking the Falcons plus the 6 points in my fifth and final fight of my 5-pack and picks. Hashtag 5-pack of picks. Let's go. And so just to recap, I'm picking Syracuse minus 4, buy that down, buy the hook, versus NC State. NC State's backup is trash, Syracuse minus 4. I'm taking Penn State plus the 7.5 versus Michigan in the Big House. Let's see, it's a top 10 matchup, 10 versus 5. Let's see if Penn State can cover that. I'm taking the Patriots against the Browns because I know that Bill Belichick is going to take away the Browns' first option, which is to run the ball, and dare Jacoby Brissett to pass on him all day. I'm taking the Bucs minus 7 versus the Steelers because the Steelers are not the same defense as they are when T.J. Watt is healthy. And then I'm taking the Falcons at home plus 6 against the 49ers because the Falcons are, when they're not playing an NFC South opponent, they play better. They play more efficiently. They play stronger against non-NFC South opponents. Now, after talking about my hashtag 5-pack of picks, it brings me to my Monday Night Football preview. Want to get into the Raiders versus the Chiefs. The Raiders come into this game at 1-3, and the Chiefs at 3-1. KC is a 7-point favorite coming into the game, according to Caesars Sportsbook. And KC is the class of the division. The AFC West we thought was going to be one of the toughest divisions this year, and so far we see that the Broncos and the Raiders aren't that good. We don't know what to make of the Chargers, and the Chiefs so far are the class of the division like I kind of expected to be. Are the Raiders okay? Their offense is all right. Their offense is top 15, but their defense is kind of struggling, although Max Crosby is up there in sacks and pass defense. And this comes down to, in my opinion, this Monday night game comes down to four guys: Max Mahomes, Patrick Mahomes, and Clyde Edwards-Helaire, because those two guys are the spark plugs and the engine that makes the Chiefs go. And then Josh Jacobs and Derek Carr. If Josh Jacobs and Derek Carr have good games, I think the Raiders will be in it to win it. We'll see if the Raiders can compete, and hopefully they don't get blown out of the stadium and out of the game early. Hopefully it's close towards the end. With that being said, I believe the Chiefs will win 31-27. It's not one of my 5-pack of picks. 16-2 on my 5-pack of picks, but I do believe the Chiefs will take it 31-27, and the Raiders will probably cover. Hopefully, we'll see. So this has been the Leo Be the Lion show. Just reminding you, if you like the show, if you have any comments about the show, feel free to get at me at Twitter and Instagram at Leo Be the Lion Show. Same name on both platforms, Leo Be the Lion Show. I'd love to hear your comments, love to hear your feedback, anything you have to say about the show. It's really important to me. And also, if you can, go to YouTube, like, subscribe. If you're watching this on YouTube, like, subscribe, and share my video, please. I would love that. I really appreciate it. And just get the word out. Leo Be the Lion Show on Mondays, normally from 5 to 6. I normally come to you live from 5 to 6 at subcultureradio.com. And I'm in a studio, and it's all brought to you by Subculture, the Subculture Group. They started a community radio station, and I come to you from the studio and give you the Leo Be the Lion Show every Monday, 5 to 6, live, and then I upload the video to YouTube later, which is the video portion of the show. And I will let you know the latest in sports finance with the local Florida flavor. It's football, finance, and we have fun on the show. And I'm looking forward to, in the future, having some guests on the show. And I just want to let you know one more time, Leo Be the Lion Show. Follow me on Twitter, Instagram. If you have any comments, feedbacks, I'd love to hear it. Subscribe to me on YouTube, Leo Be the Lion. This is your boy, Leo Be the Lion, signing off. Hashtag boom boom. Hashtag 5-pack of picks. Let's go.